Well, good happy Monday morning to you, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Okay, we are looking at the eschatology, the parables of Jesus. I've suggested to you that a proper understanding of the eschatology of the parables destroys all futurist eschatologies. Pardon me. We're looking at Jesus' promise of the vindication of the martyrs, his parable in Luke chapter 18, where he asked, "Will not God avenge the blood of the martyrs, or his martyrs who cry out to him day and night? Yes, I say to you, he will avenge them speedily." Okay, I've shared with you how the promise of the vindication of the martyrs in the last days at the day of the Lord was a promise that goes all the way back to Genesis chapter 4. It's carried through in Deuteronomy chapter 32, the Song of Moses, which was a prediction about Israel's last days, not the last days of time, not the last days of the Christian age, but the last days of Israel. We then looked at Isaiah chapters 2 through 4. Once again, the day of the Lord, when God would avenge the blood of the martyrs through the spirit of judgment and the spirit of fire against Jerusalem. Now watch this. This is incredible. In what is known as the little apocalypse. And look, folks, if you've never heard that term, if you've never studied that term, do yourself a huge favor and get my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, The Wedding of the King of Kings. We'll have more to say about that later. But the little apocalypse is recognized in scholarship as the source of a great deal of New Testament citations having to do with eschatology. But I must be brief here. Now watch this. Isaiah 24 through 29 is the little apocalypse. It's a united discourse, okay? A united discourse. Among other things, it predicted the resurrection. Isaiah 25 verse 8. Okay? The resurrection. Isaiah 26, 19. But watch this. At the time of the resurrection. And by the way, doesn't the resurrection belong at the time of the end of the millennium? We'll talk about that in the next segment, okay? But for now, notice, Isaiah 25 verse 8, doctrine of the resurrection. It's the resurrection passage that Paul draws from in 1 Corinthians 15, 54 to 56. So the resurrection of 1 Corinthians 15 is based on Isaiah 25. Okay? Isaiah 26, 19. Same resurrection. The resurrection would happen when? Well, watch this. For behold, the Lord comes out of his place. Okay, so we have the resurrection. I'm reading from Isaiah 26, verse 21. For behold, the Lord comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. Watch this. The earth will also disclose her blood and will no more cover her slain. So, what do we have? We have two predictions of the resurrection in Isaiah 25 and 26. That resurrection would take place at the time of the vindication of the martyrs. It would take place at the coming of the Lord. And remember, Isaiah is the source of Paul's resurrection doctrine in 1 Corinthians 15 and obviously 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. When did Jesus say that all of the blood of all of the righteous, all the way from Abel onward, would be vindicated? In his generation, in the judgment of Jerusalem. Okay. So Isaiah 25 and 26 foretold the resurrection of 1 Corinthians 15. But Isaiah 25 and 26 foretold the resurrection at the time of the vindication of the martyrs. Jesus said the vindication of the martyrs would be in the judgment of Jerusalem in AD 70. Therefore, the resurrection of Isaiah 25 and Isaiah 26, which is the resurrection of 1 Corinthians 15, would take place and did take place at the judgment of Jerusalem in AD 70. Do you see how the doctrine of the vindication of the martyrs is absolutely fundamental to a proper understanding of eschatology? Now, I suggested to you a moment ago that you need to do a great study on the little apocalypse, Isaiah 24 to 29. I have that study in my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, the Wedding of the King of Kings. This contains a narrative study of all of these chapters, linking them and demonstrating that it's one continuous, united, harmonious prophecy. You need to get a copy of this book. Go to my website, eschatology.org or BibleProphecy.com. Order the book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, the Wedding of the King of Kings. Make me a note that says you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping, saving you $5. And don't forget, I will include, free of charge, the CD of a paper I presented at Criswell College in Dallas, Texas, 2012, on the millennium and martyr vindication, in which I discuss the little apocalypse. Look, this CD alone will show you how important vindication of the martyrs is to the narrative of biblical eschatology. Hey, thanks so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We've got more on the vindication of the martyrs on the flip side. So we'll see you there.